Lam Research LRCX Beginner's Guide. If you've ever wondered what actually goes into making the chips inside your phone, your laptop, or the AI servers running ChatGPT, today's company is one of the small handful of businesses on the planet that builds the machines that build those chips. Lam Research, ticker LRCX, makes the giant, factory floor equipment that chip manufacturers use to carve and layer microscopic patterns onto silicon wafers. Quick disclaimer, this is an educational walkthrough of the business, not investment advice, and we are not talking about the stock price today. So, what does LRCX actually do? Lam Research sells two big things. The first is brand new semiconductor equipment. They call this the systems business, and the second is everything that keeps that equipment running after it's been installed at a customer's factory, which they call CSB, short for customer support business. Inside the systems business, the company breaks revenue down by the kind of chip the machines are making. About 54% of systems sales, roughly $2 billion in the most recent quarter, went to foundry customers. Foundry just means a contract chip factory like TSMC that builds chips for other companies. Sales here grew 35% year over year, driven by both leading edge, meaning the most advanced chips, and advanced packaging, which is the technology that lets companies stack multiple chiplets together. Another 27% of systems, around $1 billion, went to DRAM, which stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. DRAM is the fast, short-term memory inside your computer and inside AI servers. A big slice of DRAM demand right now is HBM, high bandwidth memory, which is the special stacked memory glued onto AI chips like NVIDIA's GPUs. About 12% went to NAND, which is the type of flash memory inside SSD storage drives. AI data centers need huge SSDs to store training data, and Lam expects roughly $40 billion of older NAND capacity to be upgraded to newer 200-plus layer chips. Then there is CSB, the services arm, which was a record $2.1 billion last quarter, up 25%. CSB is spare parts, software upgrades, repairs, and tools like Dextro cobots, which are robotic helpers that work alongside human technicians in chip factories. CSB is now about 36% of Lam's total revenue, and it's the recurring, sticky part of the business. Geographically, China is the biggest customer region at 34%, followed by Korea and Taiwan at 23% each. So, who does LRCX compete with, and how does it win? Lam Research has what investors call a wide moat. A moat is just shorthand for competitive advantage, the thing that keeps competitors from catching up. Lam's two main rivals are Applied Materials, ticker Applied Materials, and Tokyo Electron, a Japanese company. KLA is also in the same neighborhood but focuses more on inspection. So why does Lam win? 3 reasons. First, Lam dominates a specific step called high aspect ratio etch. Etch is the process of using gases and plasma to carve incredibly deep, narrow holes into a silicon wafer. Think of drilling a hole that's 1,000 times deeper than it is wide. This is the single most critical bottleneck in making 3D NAND, and Lam's tools, called Vantex and Flex, are basically the industry standard. As memory chips stack more layers, some now over 200, this etch step gets exponentially harder, and Lam's lead widens. Second, Lam owns a similar lock-in on ALD, atomic layer deposition, which is laying down material one atomic layer at a time. Lam's Striker ALD tool is what the industry calls tool of record at every leading memory maker for the newest DRAM generation. Tool of record is a powerful phrase. It means once a customer designs Lam's machine into their production line, switching costs are huge, and that decision typically locks in 5 to 7 years of follow-on purchases. Third, the quiet superpower. Lam has over 100,000 of its machines installed in customer factories around the world. Every one of those needs spare parts, software updates, and service from Lam. That's how CSB became an $8 billion-plus annual business that competitors like Applied Materials and Tokyo Electron can't easily replicate because they don't have Lam's specific installed base. What are the key drivers for the business over the past 5 years? The single biggest force behind Lam's growth over the past 5 years is that chips are getting structurally harder to make. Every new generation, NAND with more layers, DRAM moving to a node called 1C, foundry moving to gate-all-around transistors, requires more etch and more deposition steps per wafer. The result is that Lam's share of the overall chip equipment market, what the industry calls WFE or wafer fabrication equipment spending, has been creeping up from the low 30s toward the high 30s. Put simply, Lam grows faster than the equipment industry around it because each new generation needs more of what Lam sells. The second force is the AI boom, but in a broader way than people sometimes realize. Most beginners assume AI just means more NVIDIA GPUs. But AI also requires massive amounts of HBM memory, massive amounts of NAND storage for training data, and advanced packaging to glue these chips together. That means AI lifts demand across all of Lam's customer segments at once: foundries, DRAM makers, NAND makers, and packaging houses, which is unusual. Past chip cycles were usually driven by just one product category. This one is broader, and that tends to make it more durable. The third force is the services business. Every machine Lam ships adds to that 100,000 plus installed base, and each one generates years of recurring revenue from spares, upgrades, and software. Newer offerings like Dextro cobots and a software product called Equipment Intelligence, which uses data from running machines to predict maintenance, add even more value. CSB grows steadily even when customers slow new equipment orders, which smooths out the natural ups and downs of the chip industry. To wrap up, so here's Lam Research in one sentence. It's one of 3 companies in the world that makes the giant machines that etch and layer the patterns onto silicon wafers. And it has the deepest moat in the specific steps that matter most for 3D memory and advanced packaging. As a learner, the things to keep an eye on are simple. Watch how the AI memory build-out evolves, particularly HBM and the NAND upgrade cycle. And watch how the services business grows as Lam's installed base keeps expanding past 100,000 chambers. Once again, none of this is investment advice. It's a starting point for understanding the business, so you can do your own deeper research from here.